Hello and welcome to the new series that I'm running for Five Parsecs From Home, a tabletop game that is a solo adventure war game, which is kind of a unique thing, one being solo and two being an adventure war game. It deals with a lot of randomly procedurated things. This will be session 1, this will be the first campaign turn. 5 parsecs is broken up into campaign turns. Basically, there's a whole list of steps that you complete on each campaign turn. And we are going to try to complete a bunch of those things and play through there's kind of some pre-battle preparations. There's a tabletop game battle that you play with miniatures and figures and stuff and terrain and all that good stuff. And then there is a post-battle thing where you divvy up loot that you find on the field, you get experience for your characters, all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and dive right on in. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I've already done a session 0, which I will link up. I think it's going to be up in this direction. Apologies if I'm pointing the wrong way, but I'll link session 0 up there so that you guys can see how I created the crew and how I rolled up all of their stats and stuff. And yeah, let's get into this. So I'm also using this 5parsecscompanion.com. Basically going to be using this to help guide me through. I also have the main rulebook right here next to me, and we are brand new. Our crew met in a bar. We've got a strange alien ship called the Regal Hedgehog, and we are wanting to start doing some missions. Our victory conditions for this campaign is 20 patron missions completed, and they can be any kind of patron missions, but that's our goal. Our crew wants to make some money, and so they're going to be working on patron missions. They've set a goal for themselves, and that's what they're going to try to do. So we aren't traveling or anything. However, we need to roll up our first world that we are starting on. So we're going to do that by doing a new world arrival. We don't have any rivals to start with at the beginning of the campaign. So first thing we need to do is roll our world trait for our first world that we're starting on here. We have 31. Which is busy markets. So we have the busy markets trait for this first planet that we're going to be on. I should probably get a random name generator so that I can generate some names for these guys, or for these planets. Next, we need to see if a license is required to do freelance work on this planet. We rolled a 1. On a 5 or a 6, a license would have been required. So on a 1, no license is required, which is good for us, especially since our crew is just now starting to take up freelance work. Okay, so that was a unique step that we had to do just because we're just starting the game. Occasionally you will have to roll up new planets when you decide to travel, or if you're forced to flee your planet due to an invasion from a dangerous alien race or something like that. So the next thing we need to do is we'll start our normal world steps. So we are going to go ahead and go here to the world steps. And we got quite a few things that we can do here. So first off, upkeep and ship repairs. Pay upkeep, ship debt, ship repairs, and medical costs. Each campaign turn you must pay upkeep for your crew, representing paychecks, booze, food, anything else that is more routine than adventure. Upkeep costs 1 credit if you have 4 to 6 crew, plus 1 additional credit per crew member past 6. So we only have a crew of 5, or I'm sorry, wow. We have a crew of 6, so it will cost us 1 credit. If we had 7, it would actually cost us 2 credits. So going 1 credit, or 1 crew member past 6 immediately costs us additional credits every turn. Let's go back over to our companion page here. We'll go ahead and pay 1 credit. Okay, so paying the crew upkeep was 1 credit, but now we also have to pay on our ship. So if I recall, we owe 20 credits on our ship. That is correct, we owe 20 credits. For our ship debt, you can make payments on our ship if you owe money. Having done so, or having declined to do so, if you still owe money on your ship, the amount is now increased by 1 credit. 2 credits if you owe 31 credits or more. If this brings the total to 75 credits or more, roll 2d6. On a 2 to 6, your ship has been seized by the authorities or the shady people you owe the money to and is lost permanently. Well, we're going to actually pay a little bit on our ship. I think what we're going to do actually is we're only going to pay 1 credit for turn 1. So we haven't really earned any money, but that's going to keep our debt the same because we pay a credit, but then we get a credit of interest. So that's what we're going to do for now. We don't have to pay any ship repairs, and we don't have to pay for medical care. So next, we can assign and resolve crew tasks. Now, these are kind of cool little side missions that our crew can go on. So there's a few different things we can do. Each crew member can go on one task. We can send them to find a patron. We can send them to go training, as in like going to the gun range or the gym, like just kind of working on their abilities. They'll gain experience for that. They can trade. They can go to the markets and try to make some, or find some cool stuff there. They can try to recruit new characters. They can explore, which will give us quite a few. There's a lot of different random events that can happen from exploring. You can track. You can look for your rivals, basically track down your rivals. You can send someone to repair, like if you have a broken item, or you can be sent out as a decoy to stop your rivals from finding you on turns that you're trying to complete patron missions instead. We don't have any rivals yet, so we don't have to worry about tracking or decoying yet. Okay, so I think how I'm going to do this is I'm going to send one character out for trading. Let's see, who should we send out? I'm sorry, not trading. We're going to send Alan, our bot. He's going to go look for a patron. Let's see, none of our characters have any experience to start with, but we're going to send our bounty hunter, Portia. She's going to go training, which will gain her 1 experience. Okay, now we're going to send Holden and Caden are going to go trading. And then our Captain Corvin and our Soulless Deviant Bit are going to go exploring. I like to decide ahead of time what everyone's going to do instead of like deciding one character and then sending them and then rolling for them and then deciding the other, because I feel like you can kind of game the system a little bit if you do it that way, whereas sending them all out ahead of time is, I don't know, it's kind of what I feel like the crew would do at the beginning of the day. Like all of them are like, all right, here's what we're all doing, break, and then, you know, they all go out on their way. All right, so Alan has gone out to look for a patron. So how this works: to find a patron, roll 1d6 and add the number of crew members who are looking. If the crew has an old patron among their contacts, each patron adds +1 to the roll. So we actually have 2 patrons from when we first started rolling up our characters. So we will get a +2 to our roll. I'm sorry, we'll actually get a +3 because since Alan is looking, he gets a +1. So if I had sent 2 characters to look for a patron, I'd get a +2 from that and a +2 from our previous patrons. If we get a 5 or higher, we found a patron to hire us for a job. If it's a 6 or higher, we found 2 and we can choose either job. We only rolled a 1, we get a +3, so we only get a 4. We needed a 5 or higher to actually find a new patron. So Alan's efforts were in vain this campaign turn. Portia gains her 1 experience from training. Now Holden and Caden are trading. So let's go ahead and roll on the trading table and see what they have found. All right, let's find out what Holden has found first. We have 39. A useless trinket. For a useless trinket, roll a d6, and if it's a 6, we actually earn a story point. And it's only, whoops, sorry, didn't mean to roll again. It was only a 5. So no story point from that. So his trading mission was a bust. Caden, however, is also trading. So let's see if Caden finds anything. 72. Army surplus. Your choice of an auto rifle, blast pistol, or glare sword. Wow. I'm going to look at these on the charts real quick and see which one I think would be best. Okay, as cool as the glare sword sounds, I don't really think I have anyone in the crew that can really take advantage of the melee weapon right now. Like no one really has that good combat and high toughness that, in my opinion, it would help with a melee weapon like that. So I am actually going to choose the auto rifle, and I'm going to let Caden keep it since he only has the beam pistol right now. The auto rifle's kind of cool. It's got a 24-inch range, shoots twice, and gets no other bonuses, but getting 2 shots in 1 turn is kind of nice sometimes. All right, up next, our Captain Corvin and Deviant Bit are both exploring. So let's see what Corvin finds. Let's see what the captain finds on his exploration run. Ooh, 100. Okay, this is interesting. So 100. The exploration result is, this place is rather nice, really. When you're ready to leave this world, unless it is being invaded, you must pay 1 story point, or this crew member will decide to stay behind. If they do, you can keep their equipment though. So basically, the captain really likes this planet and doesn't want to leave. So if I don't spend a story point whenever I decide, oh, I'm ready to move to a new planet, the captain will stay unless I spend a story point. So I might just need to hold on to those for a little bit. What will Deviant get when they're exploring? What are the, okay. What are the odds of getting 2 100s in a row on D100 dice? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that's a bit ridiculous. So basically both my captain and my Solus went exploring together, apparently found a really nice sunrise or something, and decided, wow, this planet's pretty amazing. They just want to stay here. Well, I guess I'm not leaving anytime soon, because I need to spend 2 story points to keep these guys, unless the planet gets invaded, and then they can freely leave. Okay, the next step is to determine our job offers, and since we started the game with 2 patrons, we basically started the game with an offer from both of those. So sending Alan out to find another patron, it wasn't really a huge deal that we didn't find one, and we could have done some generic missions instead of a patron mission, but we do actually have 2 patron missions to start with. So let's roll those up real quick and see what we actually have available for us to try this turn. All right, first thing we need to do is roll a d10 and figure out what kind of patron we have. Our first patron is a 2, which is a corporation, which it gives us a +1 to the roll on the danger pay table. All right, let's see what the danger pay is going to be. Ooh, a 9. Oh, you add +1 to the roll. So that actually bumps us up to a 10. Wow, okay. So that's the highest you can get. 9 would have been a +3 credits for the danger pay, which is great. 10 is +3 credits, and you roll twice, picking the higher die when rolling for mission pay after the battle. That's really good, because I think you roll a 1d6 plus the 3 credits to figure out how much you're getting paid. All right, now we need to determine the time frame. We need to see how long is this job going to be available. Sometimes it needs to be done right now. Sometimes you may have multiple turns to get it done. We got a 2, which means it needs to be done now, this campaign turn. Okay, now we're going to see if there are any benefits, hazards, or conditions for this mission. Benefits, we only got a 6. For a corporation, we needed an 8+ to get any benefits, so no. Hazards, let's see. 3, we needed an 8+, no. And let's check for conditions. A 9, we only needed a 5+, so let's look at the conditions table. Roll again and got a 2. It is demanding. Danger pay is only upon success. That's fair. All right, let's find out what patron number 2 is. 4, local government. See what the danger pay is. 4, there's only +1 credit. And the time frame, only a 2, so this campaign turn. All right, let's find out if there are any benefits, hazards, or conditions. No benefits, no hazards, and no conditions. So I really don't think we're going to be taking on that job just because it's only going to pay us 1 credit of danger pay. The other job has much better danger pay. Okay, now that we figured out our 2 patrons, next thing we need to do is assign our equipment. So we have a grapple launcher and a duplicator in our stash. I think it's going to make the most sense to give the grapple launcher to Portia here. It seems to fit. And for now, I'm just going to leave the duplicator in there. It actually lets us completely, perfectly duplicate 1 item. But I don't think I have anything good enough right now that I want to duplicate. All right, next we need to resolve any rumors that we may have. We started the game with 4 rumors, and basically rumors are like clues you can get that evolve into quests. And then once you're on a quest, you start earning quest rumors, and once you get enough of those, you can complete quests, which give you bonus experience and some other stuff usually. So we need to roll a d6, We got a 4. If the roll is equal or below the number of rumors, remove all rumors from your roster. You have now received a quest, which you may pursue immediately until the quest is resolved. Anytime you would receive a remover, anytime you would receive a rumor, you receive a quest rumor instead. So we have just lost all of our rumors. Let me edit this again. And we now have a quest. All right, next we get to choose our battle, which starts with checking for rivals, but since we don't have any rivals, we don't have to worry about that. We can skip on to the next step. So we can select our job, which by selecting the job, we can either carry out an opportunity mission, which is kind of just a quick, easy, random mission. We could try to attack a rival if we had tracked them down and if we actually had a rival to do that with. We can continue a quest by doing an actual quest related mission, or we can carry out a patron job. And since we have 2 patron missions that both want us to do it this turn, but one of them is going to pay really, really well, I think we should try to do that one. So I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to choose our first patron, the corporation, wanting to pay +3 credits in danger pay for this mission. Let's see what we get. All right, now we get to start the battle section of this. We get to figure out what kind of mission our patron has just sent us on. So the first thing we're going to do is determine our deployment conditions. Got an 83, which for our patron gives us a bitter struggle with our enemy. Enemy morale is +1. That's going to make it a little bit harder to get the enemy to run away if I knock out some of their dudes. Next, we see if there are any notable sights. 70. Ooh, there's an item on the map, really shiny bits, which will gain us 2 credits if we get it. All right, now we have to determine the actual objective. So let's see what our patron has us doing. Got a 6, which is a secure mission. Secure is you must end 2 consecutive rounds with crew within 2 inches of the center of the table. A crew member with an enemy within 6 inches of them does not count. Once this is achieved, you win. If you drive off the opposition, you can complete the objective at your leisure. So we basically need to hold the center of the map on whatever we're playing at. That's pretty cool. All right, so now we need to figure out what kind of enemies we're going to be fighting. We'll roll a D100. 15. These are criminal elements. So we roll a D100 again to narrow this down. Got a 25, which is raiders. The only thing better than making something valuable is stealing it from someone else. All right, and now we need to figure out how many of them there are. Since we have a campaign size of 6, or I'm sorry, a crew size of 6, we need to roll 2d6 and pick the higher result. We got a 3 and a 5. Oh man, that means there's going to be 5 raiders that we got to fight off. Oh, and then raiders have the modifier of +1, so there's actually going to be 6 of them. All right, and since we are encountering between 3 to 6 enemies, there will be 1 specialist present. And if we are encountering 4 or more opponents, one non-specialist figure will be a lieutenant. So we're gonna have 4 normal raiders, a lieutenant, and a specialist. I also need to see if there's gonna be any unique individuals among this crew of raiders. So we're gonna roll 2d6. Which we only got a 7. I think we needed a 9 or higher. That is correct. A 9 or higher would have brought a unique individual to the table, which would stand out from the normal raiders by quite a bit. But we don't have to worry about that this time. Alright, let's see what kind of weapons these raiders have. The normal guys are going to have something from the weapon 2 category. You get a 2, which is a military rifle, so their lieutenant is going to have a combat skill of +2, and they will all have military rifles. But then the specialist is also going to have a rattle gun. Oh, I'm sorry, a handgun and ripper sword. Oh boy, I was looking at the wrong chart. Yeah, specialist A, handgun and ripper sword. Fantastic. And they have the aggressive AI type. All right, and now I need to pick out some minis to represent these raiders. All right, I picked out a few Space Marines here to be our raiders that are coming to attack us. The specialist is up front on the right there. He's got a different kind of loadout and coloring than the others. The lieutenant will be the non-helmeted one in the middle front, and the other 4 are just the normal guys with the military rifles. Our crew has deployed over here on the left side of the table and will be moving towards the center to try to hold the field and hopefully take out some of those raiders along the way, though the raiders are going to be playing very aggressively and also are have quite a bit of combat skill compared to my guys here, so we'll see how this goes. But got a nice big battlefield. I've kind of tried to set things up over here so that right here, this doorway is going to be the center that they're trying to secure. I feel like they need to secure this facility for some reason. Our special notable item is over there, which will be the shiny object that we might be able to retrieve and get a couple of extra credits here. A lot of terrain kind of spread out over here to try to make an interesting table. So yeah, let's see how this goes. All right, so I'm actually a little bit worried about this this battle here, this being our very first battle. My crew's not very experienced yet, and honestly these raiders are pretty well equipped, so I'm a little bit worried. So the very first thing we're going to do is try to seize the initiative, and I am going to roll 2d6, adding the highest savvy of any character, which looks like it's going to be Alan with a savvy of 2. Oh no, Corvin also has 2. But so I'm only going to add 2. So we'll roll 2d6. I got a 9. With my +2 is 11. On a total of a 10 plus, every character in my crew may either take a normal move or may fire before the battle begins. Any shots taken only hit on a natural 6. Nice. Okay, so basically everyone's going to get to move, and I've got a feeling that, or shoot, but I don't think we're going to be able to see any of the enemies yet from where we're at. I could be wrong. There might actually be a little bit of a line of sight going straight across the middle, like Corvin might be able to see them, or Holden, maybe Portia, but none of them really have very long guns. Portia only has some pistols. Holden does have a hunting rifle, which he actually gets a plus. Not a +1, he doesn't get a minus if he doesn't move because it is heavy. Corvin, however, he has a colony rifle, so the two of them could attempt to shoot. I don't know if I want to do that or not though. Maybe I should try to get some shots in early while no one's in cover, because they haven't moved up into cover yet. So maybe I should try to hit the guys out here on the end, either the sergeant, or I'm sorry, the lieutenant, or the little guy on the edge, because I should have a pretty clear shot. Not counting, I'm counting these barricades as like if you're up next to them you get cover, but otherwise you don't get any cover. So I need to double check, but I think both Holden and actually Corvin might not be able to. It's only an 18-inch range, and that is pretty far. That is most of the range of the entire field here. So let me measure these real quick. Okay, yeah, Corvin is just slightly out of range. However, Holden should be able to make a shot with his 30-inch hunting rifle. So I think everyone else is basically going to take a move. So I'm going to go ahead and start moving people first. So everyone other than Portia has a move of 4. So we're going to have people kind of running up here like this, trying to get into cover behind this building. Captain should be able to move, yeah, and right in the middle there. And then Portia, I think what we're gonna have her do is kind of zoom up and around. Maybe she's gonna try to go around and flank from the other side as a bounty hunter. That could be a good idea. It might be a terrible idea. Holden, however, is going to take a shot along the center here at one of these guys here at the end. Apologies for the little bit of dust on the equipment here in the background. My bad. So Holden is going to take his single shot. They are not in cover. They are outside of 6 inches though, and they are in range of his weapon. So he will get a 5 up needed to hit them instead of a 6 up if they were in cover. He does not have any combat bonuses. So let's see if we can get this 5 up. We only got a 3, unfortunately, so we do not hit that enemy. So now the normal rounds begin. And the very first thing that we need to do is roll our reaction rolls. So this is basically, that was like almost like a surprise round, and we need to roll our reaction. So we're gonna roll 66, and we got a 1, a 2 way over here, a 3, 4, 5, and another 4. All right, who do we have with reactions? We have 1, 2, 2, 1, and 1. So I'm gonna give Holden the 1. I'm gonna mark that over here by putting the 1 next to him, and then I'm going to give Caden the 2. And then basically everyone else is going to go into the slow round. It doesn't really matter what dice they have. You don't even have to mark them with dice. Actually, I'm not going to mark them with dice. I'm just going to mark my fast round users with dice over here. So this time I can take a full round action instead of what I did before. So this time Holden is actually going to move and then shoot. He's going to move up and try to get into some cover so he's not just standing out in the open like he is right now. So he's going to move right up next to this building, and then he's going to fire again at that same enemy. However, this time, since he's moved, he has a heavy weapon, so he gets a -1 on his hit roll. So he needs a 6 or better to hit. I only got a 2, so unfortunately, no hit. And now Caden is going to move forward. Caden is going to move forward. He can't quite, let's see, he should be able to shoot at those guys over there. So we're going to have Caden taking 2 shots with his auto rifle that he just got from trading. Got a 3 and a 2. Unfortunately, neither of those shots are good enough. I still need a 5 up in order to hit at this range. This is not looking good so far. All right, so now it is the enemy's turn. I don't have a good feeling about this, guys. The lieutenant is basically gonna move up right here into cover, and he's gonna take a shot with his military rifle at Caden over here. He's not within 6 inches. Caden does have cover, so the enemy needs a 6 up. However, this is the lieutenant who has a +2 to his combat skill, so he only needs a 4 or better to hit. Lucky me, he only rolled a 2, so he misses. The next guy is probably also basically going to do the same thing, moving up, but this guy couldn't. He was a little bit further, so he can't quite get into the cover, and he's going to also try to shoot at Caden. And he hits. Alright, Caden has a toughness of 3. Oh, he only rolled a 2. Thank goodness. Okay, so Caden does not die or not get taken out yet. Alright, and Caden will get knocked back 1 inch. And get a stun marker placed next to him. I'm using suppression tokens from Star Wars Legion. This is much harder to do sitting down than I thought it was going to be. So the enemies in the back are going to move up. They can't shoot through their allies. So this guy's actually probably going to dash up. We'll have him dash as well. He can dash to get over here, and he can dash to get up here. Okay, so for the rest of my crew's move, I'm going to try to have them get into position to start shooting at them. However, maybe I need to get them into position so that when the enemy advances next time, they can take some shots after the enemy has moved. Yeah, I think that's the better play here. I'm going to have Portia basically just dash to get over here behind here. Alan is going to move up just a little bit right there. The captain and Captain Corvin and Deviant Bit are both going to go tuck in behind that wall. Okay, in hindsight, this game is very difficult to play sitting down like this. I'm used to playing on my table back there, but I don't really have a good way to record the gameplay back there. Not like I already have everything set up over here. I don't really have things set up on my main table, but I don't have this set up in a way that is easy to stand up and move things. So that's something I hadn't quite expected. I might have to figure out something better to do for that. Alright, so now we start over with our reaction rolls again. No one was killed, so we don't have to worry about doing any morale. Alright, so let's roll our reactions. This is the beginning of combat round number 2. I did not get any good reaction rolls here. This is not great. basically. The entire enemy team is going to get to go before me. So aggressive enemies are supposed to be advancing as quickly as possible to try to get into a brawl. So I probably shouldn't have been having them shoot, but they have military rifles, so I feel like they should be shooting. But it does say they're trying to get into a brawl, so I feel like they should be moving forward and shooting as often as they can. But it does say they try to remain in cover if possible. So they can see Caden and Holden back there, so they are going to be moving forward. Or at least these guys here can see them. The others, it says if they're unable to see any opposition or which are within 12 inches, will advance as fast as possible towards the nearest opponent, attempting to enter into a brawl. So these guys are going to move forward. Whoops, because they can see Caden. I guess I should have the captain move. Well, the lieutenant. Just the lieutenant move first. He is just barely outside of 6 inches. It is like a hair's breadth, so he is still going to be firing his gun. Caden is no longer in cover though, so he only needs a 5 up to hit him, and he has a +2 to his roll. Oh my goodness, I can't even see it. What did he get? Oh, thank goodness, he got a 1. Okay, so he misses Caden. This guy is now basically going to move up and try to do the exact same thing. However, he can see him, but the lieutenant here had a clear shot. This guy does not, so he's going to need a 6 up in order to hit Caden. He rolled a 4. He has a +1, so he only gets a 5, so he cannot hit Caden from there. Everyone else, though, is going to be advancing. They can't see anyone, so they're going to be advancing over this way to try to get back here and get some shots in on our friends. They can move 6 inches with a dash, so they're just kind of dashing over here as fast as possible. And we're just going to have a mess of enemies back there to deal with. So now my crew gets to go. Caden has taken a few shots at him already. He is actually going to step out of the way, which removes his stun marker. But this is the only action he can take for this round. So he's going to step back here and just kind of try to get into cover a little bit better. Holden is going to take the aim action first and aim with his hunting rifle. And he's going to shoot at that lieutenant again. By aiming, he can reroll any 1s if I get a 1 with my gun. And I won't get the -1 penalty for moving because I'm standing still. I'm still in cover. I'm going to take another crack shot at that guy. Ah, dang it. I rolled a 2. So, no hit on the lieutenant. This is going very poorly so far, guys, because these guys are just going to swarm in and potentially overwhelm me. Alright, Deviant Bit is going to move right out here in the open, well, in the front, get right up here up against the cover, definitely within range. He's got 4.5 inches to the lieutenant, barely over 4, so he's within 6 inches. The lieutenant's out in the open. Deviant Bit is going to take a shot with his blast pistol, only needing a 3 or better and getting a 5, so he would have hit even if the lieutenant was in cover. Now the enemies have a 3 toughness, so I need a 3 or better to wound them. My blast pistol has a damage of +1, so I can potentially only need to roll a 2. Alright. And I got a 3 +1 is 4, so I have taken the lieutenant out of the match. That is the first good thing to happen so far this game. I am pretty happy with that. Our captain is going to basically do the same thing. Captain heard how excited Deviant Bit got and is going to rush up here next to him, pull out his also blast pistol, because I rolled a lot of pistols when I was rolling, and is going to fire at this guy right here. We got a 4. No combat bonus. We only needed a 3, so we do hit. We have a +1 damage bonus on our pistol, so we only need a 2 or better to take this guy out for his toughness. Ooh, I only roll a 1, however, though, which will knock this guy back and give him a stun marker. He will basically run into that terrain and get this stun marker right here. Portia is just going to move back a little bit more over here. And Alan is going to do the same thing. He's going to move back around this corner because those enemies are going to keep rushing around here because they think they're going to be able to flank us back there. And that is going to end combat round 2. All right, going into combat round 3. You might notice some changes. I am wearing a new shirt. A little bit of time has passed since combat round 2. And I have, during the first couple of rounds, I've definitely noticed some pain points with my setup that I have here. Things aren't exactly ideal for playing a tabletop game, so I have some ideas on how to improve them for future videos. I'm going to keep trying to push ahead with this one and make this work so I can at least get this video out and ready, but I've got some stuff I'm working on for hopefully episode 2 and onwards, but still kind of in progress on that. I just wanted to take a quick aside for that. Another thing, I forgot that I need to roll morale for the enemy, because since I basically at the end of combat round 2, I should roll morale. I killed the lieutenant, so I need to roll morale to see if any of them might run away. Now, they have a +1 to their morale, because from our patron mission, they have they have bitter struggle, and so they get an enemy morale +1. So normally they would panic on a 1 or a 2. Only one enemy was lost, so I'm going to roll 1 single dice. But since they have a +1, they will only panic if I roll a natural 1. That is the only thing that will cause any of them to panic. Now, if one of them does panic, that would be really good for me, because that would drop their numbers down to 4, and will most likely cause this this guy here in the back to panic. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing one of the pain points is this microphone is not ideal for what I'm doing here. It actually blocks a good chunk of my vision and is in the way when I'm trying to reach out and do things. Plus, the seated position isn't really very conducive for this game either. Maybe if I have a raised desk here, so maybe if my desk was a normal height, seated might work. But it is raised, and I have a keyboard tray pulled out so that way I can type notes as I'm playing. And yeah, that doesn't work so well for what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna have to figure out something different. But anyways, let's roll that morale. And they got a 2. So normally they would have panicked. But since they have that +1 to their morale, nobody panicked. All right, so let's get into this. Combat round 3, we're going to start off. We're going to roll our reactions. Hopefully we get some fast reactions. That would actually be really, really nice if we could get a couple. So let's see what we get with our 6 dice here. I see 2 1s. Let's see, a 6, 4, 4, and a 3. Do I have anyone with a reaction of 3? I don't think I do. No, not yet. Caden has a 2, and Alan has a 2. So I've got a couple of 1s. I could give that to Deviant Bit and maybe the captain. Maybe I could have them shoot at the one enemy that's still over here. Are they still within 6 inches? They are, well, actually, yeah, the captain is like just at the edge of 6 inches, which I think I measured that last time, right at the end, because I think he shot and missed, because I think Deviant Bit shot him and hit him, but didn't actually hurt him, and he just got knocked back and stunned. So he got knocked back into the wall, and then I think the captain ran up and tried to shoot him after that. So I could try to have them shoot at that guy again, potentially. That might be a good idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to pull these 2 dice over here for Deviant Bit and the captain right here. and they're going to see if they can take that guy out before he can do anything else. So we're going to have the, let's have our captain shoot first, and he is going to aim and then fire with his blast pistol. So he's going to fire, he's got an 8-inch range, 1 shot, +1 to his damage. So let's see if I can hit him. He is out in the open, he's within 6 inches, so I only need a 3 or a better to hit him, and aiming will let me re-roll a 1. And I got a 5. Fantastic. Now I need to check and see if I can hit his wound, or I'm sorry, hit his toughness to actually kill him. He has a toughness of 3, so I'm going to need a 3 or better to kill him. And I have a +1 to my damage because I have a blast pistol. So I got a 2, which goes up to a 3 with my +1. So that guy is taken out. Fantastic. I'm almost regretting having my captain go first. Let's remove that dice from him, because Deviant Bit's actually in better cover. And I think these enemies over here, I think it's actually going to make more sense. I mean, they just saw the lieutenant and then this other guy get blasted. So I've got a feeling they're actually going to come back this way. Like, that makes more sense to me thematically, even though it's not good for me in a gameplay perspective. Okay, so I was double checking in the rules real quick, and because I was thinking there was a way in Star Wars Legion, for example, you can set up to be like in a standby mode, and basically you're sitting there aiming your gun, waiting for someone to come in front of you, and then you shoot as soon as they come in front of you. This game has something similar. It's called Snapfire, and it basically lets you forgo your quick action. As long as they were in the quick action phase, they can forgo their quick action and then wait for an enemy to go in front of them. If no enemy does, they can still act in the slow actions phase because they basically just sat there and waited. Okay, so Deviant Bit is going to choose to snap fire, assuming an enemy comes in front of him. And this guy here is most likely going to be running this way, so he's going to try to take a shot of him as soon as he gets into view. So let's see what happens. Okay, so he is going to move up like so. That's his normal 4-inch. He would probably attempt to dash. No, he would probably stop there and shoot. However, Deviant Bit is going to get to shoot first with his blast pistol. So, let's see what we get. He got a 3 on his hit, which is good enough to hit. I need a 3 to wound him because of his toughness. However, I get a +1 to my damage roll. Let's see what I get here. 4. I got a 5. So he is eliminated. Fantastic. So that is the specialist out of the way. And Deviant Bit can no longer run here. Now, I'm imagining basically everyone else is going to be moving forward. At least they're 4 inches. No, actually, he should barely be able to move. Whoops. All right, buddy. So those two can at least move up to there. This guy, can he move? It's tough to say. I don't think he can actually move past this guy. I mean, I guess if he dashes, he could. But his movement would actually end right about where that guy's at. So I think what I'll do, these two are going to move forward. They're going to see these guys, so then they're going to try to shoot at the two of them. He probably doesn't, because of where he's positioned, I don't think he can really see Deviant Bit behind this wall over here. However, he can see the captain, so he's going to shoot at the captain, and this guy is going to shoot at Deviant Bit. I think that sounds fair. And then this guy, after these two have shot, he's going to continue his move, and he's actually going to dash and get right over here in front. But he won't be able to shoot because he's dashing instead. So first, this guy over here on the far right is going to shoot over at Deviant Bit. And he needs a 5 to hit because Deviant Bit is in cover. He's within 6 inches. If he was further than 6 inches, he would need a 6 to hit. He has a +1 to his combat, which only gives him a 3, so he does not hit. The second guy is going to shoot at the captain. Goodness. Okay, he got a 6. All right, so this is at the captain. So now he needs a 3 or better to wound the captain. Only got a 2. Thank goodness. I was actually really worried about that. So the captain is going to get knocked back an inch and stunned. And then lastly, this guy is going to finish his move and get up here. I did that a little bit out of order. Basically, I should have moved and shot, and then moved and dashed to finish all of their stuff all at once. But I kind of started moving them and then realizing how they should have been acting. So I messed that up a little bit. Sorry. Okay, so a lot of what the enemies have done have messed up my initial plan. So I was hoping to ambush the enemies back over here when they came around this corner. I was setting my characters up over here so that as soon as they hopped over, there's a barrier right here. As soon as they hopped over here, these two were going to pop out and Portia over here was going to pop out and start shooting at them. That's all for nothing at the moment. So let's see what we can do to rectify this. All right, Holden down here is actually going to climb up here. There's actually a ladder right here, but they can make vertical movement at the same rate they can make normal movement, and these ledges are only 2 inches high, so he can move up there and then that'll give him a clear shot at this guy out here. So that's what Holden's going to do. He's just basically gonna hop right up here and take a shot. He does, however, get a -1 to his hit because he moved and he has a heavy weapon. I'm actually really not liking his heavy weapon. Actually, wait, is he within 8 inches? Oh, he is, because this is a 7-inch tool and he is almost touching at 7 inches. He has a machine pistol, so he's actually going to fire twice with his machine pistol instead of using his heavy hunting rifle. So yeah, that's a much better plan. Holden is going to fire twice with his machine pistol. I'm gonna go ahead and roll both. He is outside of 6 inches, so he needs a 5 up to hit. The 3 misses, but the 5 hits. I need a 3 or better to wound, and I got a 5. So this guy out here in the front is dead. Okay, so once I've started knocking these guys down, this is going way smoother than I expected it to. Okay, so Alan, our bot, is going to run right over here, and he's going to take a shot at this closest enemy right here. I just measured, he is right within 6 inches. He actually has a machine pistol as well, so he's going to fire 2 shots at that guy, and he is in cover, so he's still going to need 5 ups to actually hit. Alan, however, has a +1 to his combat skill, so he only actually needs a 4 or better on his dice rolls to hit. So I got a 4 and a 5, so I basically got a 5 and a 6, and did 2 hits. Now I need to see if I kill him. I need a 3 or better, and I got 1 3 and a 1. So the 1 didn't do any damage, but the other killed him. Oh man, this turned around so fast. I was like terrified early game because these guys had some long range weapons. They were very aggressive. They were moving in a group. I was hoping I could like separate them in some way and you know, take them out one at a time, but they just kind of swarmed to me as aggressive units. But I ended up turning it around and getting some better rolls later on. So I am very pleased with that. So now Caden is going to move forward right up here. He should be able to move right back where he was. And he is going to fire 2 shots with his auto rifle and try to take out this last remaining enemy. That guy is in the open and within 6 inches. So both of these will hit, because he only would need a 3 or better. And he's only going to need a 3 or better to wound the guy. And I got 1 wound. So this last guy is eliminated. So now, basically, what would happen, we have now held the field. We've killed all of the enemies. However, this objective requires us to hold the center without any enemies for 2 turns. So we basically have 2 turns where we need to sit here and this door was the objective. They're holding it. for some reason we needed to secure this entryway for this facility. But there's also this special objective over here. And so basically during those 2 turns, they're going to run over and grab that, and they're going to hold this objective here. No more enemies are going to spawn. We don't have to worry about anything like that. So that basically finishes up the combat for this round. So let's get into the post-battle stuff. We're gonna grab this little shiny thing that was over here. I can't even remember what it was. Really shiny bits. So we're gonna get a bonus 2 credits for that. So okay, post-battle activities. The first thing we're gonna do is resolve our rival status. If you fought an opponent that isn't a rival and held the field, which we did, which means we just cleared all the enemies and we held the field, roll a d6. On a 1, the type of opponents you just fought become your rivals and should be noted for this planet. On any other roll, they either had enough or figured business is business and will leave you alone. Alright. Okay, no rivals. Alright, resolve patron status. If you succeeded in a patron mission, which we did, you may add the patron to your list of contacts on this planet, unless the job was a one-time contract. I'm going to need to roll up some names for some of these patrons and stuff to keep track of everything. I think that'd be really fun to, like, give the world a little bit more lore and everything. When you travel to a new planet, all patrons become unavailable unless they are persistent. Okay, next, determine quest progress. We weren't working on a quest. We just fought a battle that was part of a quest. Roll a d6. We did not. We were doing a patron mission instead of a quest mission, so not going to worry about that. Now we get paid. We earn 1 d6 credits in pay, loot, bounty, or salvage. However, for our patron mission, we get to roll twice for mission pay. Okay, I just double checked. We roll twice and we pick the higher pay. So I'm going to roll 2 d6. And we got a 2 and a 6, so we're going to take the 6. And we got a danger pay of plus 3 credits, so that is 9 credits, plus we got the 2 credits from the really shiny bits that I'm assuming we're going to go sell, so that gives us 11 credits. Go ahead and add that in here. Oops, one too many. Next, we have battlefield finds. If you held the field after the battle, which we did, you had an opportunity afterwards to search the battlefield for anything worth collecting. You may do so even if you failed to achieve or did not have an objective. This is in addition to any loot you might be allowed to claim. You cannot roll on this table after an invasion battle. Note that unless indicated by this table, you cannot acquire weapons from fallen opponents. The in-world reason, the foes drag their casualties away with them, the weapons are gene-locked to a particular user, or the weapons are destroyed in the fight. Can be your choice, but you cannot remove them. Okay, so we roll a d100 on the table below. And we got 88. Vital info, invasion evidence. Turn in this information to get a corporate patron automatically on this world, which we just also gained from completing this patron mission. If the enemy is an invasion threat, which raiders should not be, I'm going to double check that real quick. Okay, they are not an invasion threat. So basically we got vital info and got a new corporate patron. We'll basically just roll up their information at the beginning of the next actual campaign turn. Next, we check for invasion. We did not have an invasion threat, so we don't have to worry about that. And then we gather the loot. We roll once on the loot table to see what we've earned. This is in addition to getting paid earlier and from our battlefield finds. So we roll a d100 on the loot table. We got 9. Okay, which is a weapon. So now we go to the weapon category subtable, sorry. 77. Ooh, it's a melee weapon. And then we roll on the melee weapon subtable, which we got an 82. Ooh, we got something called a shatter axe. That actually sounds really cool. So I'm going to add that to our stash real quick. Next, we determine injuries and recovery. Any character that became a casualty in the battle must roll on the injury table. We don't have to do that because none of our characters became casualties. Next, we get experience and character upgrades. Each character that participated in a battle will now earn experience points. Characters survived if they did not become a casualty. Track the accumulated of experience points for each character. Bots do not receive experience, so Alan does not receive any experience. Alright, so everyone in the crew except Alan is going to get +3 experience because we survived and won. And then Deviant Bit will get 1 additional experience because he was the first one to kill an opponent. He killed the enemy lieutenant right off the bat in the second round. Okay, and then most things that you can get, like you can spend your experience basically as you earn it. You can spend it on things as soon as you're able to. Like as soon as you have the right amount of experience, you can then spend it on these things. 7 experience to buy a reaction increase, which would be really good, having more people on higher than reaction 1. So when I'm rolling my reaction dice, I can get more people into the fast phase. 7 points to increase their combat skill, 5 points to increase their speed, 5 points to increase their savvy, 6 points to increase their toughness, and 10 points to increase their luck. And then bot characters can install upgrades to any ability score by paying credits equal to the experience cost. Each ability score can be upgraded only once. That actually might be a good idea to increase Alan's. He's got a 2 for his reaction. I could actually bump him up to a 3 because we got 11 credits. Like I could spend that. I could spend 7 on either reactions or combat skill. I get him a 2 in his combat. Right now he's the only one even with a 1. But getting him at a higher reaction, because Caden has a 2, and if Alan can get it up to a 3, that means if I rolled a 1, 2, and a 3, I could give a 1 to anyone else, a 2 to Caden, and a 3 to Alan. Like it just gives you more chances to get someone into the fast phase. I think I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to increase Alan's reaction up to 3. We'll spend 7 credits. Oh, and it looks like bots can only increase their ability scores 1 time by doing this. So that's the highest his reaction can get. So I can increase his reaction to 3, his speed to 5, his combat to 2, his toughness to 5, and his savvy to 3. Good to know. Next, we can invest in advanced training. At this stage, you may opt to invest in advanced training. Advanced training courses give a character expertise that will allow them to improve or re-roll vital checks during the campaign, as well as some other benefits. Select a crew member who wishes to attend, pay an application fee of 1 credit, and roll 2d6, requiring a 4+ to be approved. On a failed roll, you can try again later. Only 1 attempt is permitted per campaign turn. Select a course to enroll in and pay the course cost. The cost can be paid using unspent experience, credits, or any combination thereof. Interesting. Oh, I can go off to pilot training, mechanic training, medical school, merchant school, security training, broker training, or bot technician. Okay, that's pretty cool. I had forgotten about these features. There's quite a few things like pilot training. When you're doing Starship travel event, you can roll 2d6, pick the better die, and then add +2 to the score when you're rolling for events and stuff. So that's pretty neat. Each of these kind of has like a neat bonus, but they're kind of expensive. Most of them are 10, 15, 20 credits plus the initial credit for the application fee. So it might not be good to invest in that just yet. Next, we can purchase items. You may pay 3 credits to receive a roll on the military weapon table, gear table, or gadget table in the character creation chapter. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to spend 3 more credits and get another military weapon. I think having more good weapons is actually going to help us. All right, military weapon table. 22. We got a military rifle, which is what the enemies had this last round. All right, next we roll for a campaign event and apply the result immediately. In some cases, an event may not seem to make any sense. If so, adjust or ignore it as necessary. All right, let's see what our campaign event is going to be. 53. Oh no, the taxman is taking an interest in your business conduct. So I just spent like all the credits we just earned except like 1. So that sucks because I just took a patron mission, spent 10 of those 11 credits because I did the bot upgrade and everything. So the taxman comes and I need to roll 2d6 and pay the highest in credits. And of course, oh, amazing. I got 2 6s. So no matter what, I was getting a 6. So we're going to drop another 6 credits. So we lost money on this mission, basically. Okay, next we get to pick one of our crew members who is not a bot and is not soulless, and we roll for a character event. Let's see. Everyone did something in this battle except unfortunately Portia. So I think I'm going to choose Portia, our bounty hunter, and have her roll on the character event table. Apply the result immediately. In some cases, an event may end up not making any sense. If so, tweak or ignore it as necessary. If an event is completely inapplicable, simply add 1 experience to the character. Now, some of these are good, some of them are bad. So something bad could potentially happen to Portia, but I I want to give her something to do, since she mostly just got to dive around at the back of the field and hide back there. 97. Oh man. Okay, so basically, a deep feeling of melancholy and despair is afflicting you. The character will earn no experience next campaign turn. That's rough. So basically, Portia, the bounty hunter, was so depressed by not getting to take part in this battle. Basically, her plan didn't work out. None of the enemies came around her way. So she's so depressed that she's not gonna gain any experience next turn. Ouch. Alright, and the last step is to check for galactic war progress. If you were tracking any planets that were previously invaded, roll 2d6. We have not. This is the first planet we've been on. No one is invaded currently that we're aware of, so we're not tracking any, but there's, in the future when that does happen, it's kind of cool because like planets that you may have had to flee because they were being invaded by some horrible alien menace, it's possible the planet gets completely taken over and then you can never go back there again. It's also possible that the war is just continuing to go on, like the Unity, the government overlords may be fighting a winning battle, and maybe they can actually take the planet back, and then you can go back and revisit that planet. Maybe you had previous patrons there, maybe even rivals there, but you can go back and revisit planets that have been attacked, potentially. So that's just something that could happen later. Okay, so a lot has happened. I'm actually really excited. This was a lot of fun setting this up and doing this, even though I just lost a lot of credits. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching this. I think I need to do kind of a drastic rearranging of my setup to make this flow better. Again, this microphone is not the greatest idea. I think I need to get a new mic, maybe like a lavalier mic that can clip onto my shirt or something. So that way it's kind of out of the way. I don't think sitting at this desk is conducive to playing the game. I don't think that's a good idea. I would much rather prefer to be able to move around the table, which I do actually have a table behind me. I just didn't have any of my camera equipment, my filming equipment. I had none of that set up over there, and I had everything currently set up here because this is where I do a lot of my painting tutorials and videos and stuff. And I've got a nice light up here, a big softbox light aiming down at my table. That's mostly the only light. I have one other light right over here that I now have on my face to kind of help fill in the shadows on my face a little bit, so that this isn't just casting really harsh shadows on me. So hopefully that's helping a little bit. I may actually need to get a different light for this purpose. However, once I get moved over to that table and get some of my equipment set up over there, I'm gonna have to change some things around. I am excited to continue this. I'm really excited to get into campaign turn number 2. So thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, like the video, leave me a comment down below if you were worried towards the beginning of this when I was missing all of my shots. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This series so far has gotten a lot more interest than I was expecting. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time.